Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of A Shot of Rose. Up this week, we talk about two dummies and the infamous R.Kelly in his 30 years. Let's get it. Yo, what's good? What's good, man? Welcome back, everybody. How's everybody doing this week? By the time you hear this, hopefully you will have enjoyed your 4th of July. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Episode still comes out on Monday, but I already know y'all probably ain't gonna hear this till Tuesday. So hopefully everyone had a good 4th of July. I know I'm planning on enjoying it. My sister's coming down. We're gonna go hit up the beach. I ain't too sure about that. You know what I'm saying? On one hand, I do want to go to the beach, but on the other hand, I kind of feel like it's gonna be a bunch of people there. So, and not like I'm afraid to be around a bunch of people, but you gotta deal with parking and finding parking and then getting out and a whole bunch of other shit. So but we're gonna take a trip down to Galveston. Her kids ain't never been to the beach, so in which case we're gonna try to go. My kids ain't never been to the beach either, so we're gonna try to go see the water. Although Galveston really ain't like the first beach you would want to take them to, but you know what I'm saying, it's growing pains, right? You gotta go to Galveston to really appreciate like other beaches, because if you from anywhere in the South East Texas part, you know what I'm saying, and you've been to Galveston, you already know yeah, that water is not that water is not what's fire, man. But how's everybody doing this week? I'm good. Had a pretty good week at work, you know what I'm saying? Had my best numbers that I've ever had in my new job. So boys is really starting to come along, really starting to get things together. Ain't been too much of a crazy week. For those of you that don't know, I recently started dieting again for like the umpteenth time. But I've been fairly successful. I've been doing it since the start of June. I lost a little over 10 pounds now, and honestly it's going great, man. I really haven't done anything too special, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of really narrowed in on my calories. I have switched up, you know what I'm saying, eating out and shit. Also, inflation is running rapid and the boys need to keep every coin that they got. So in which case, it's a perfect blend of managing your calories while also managing your pocketbook. So in which case I can never argue, you know what I'm saying, saving money. But other than that though, man, my week's been great. I feel good. I can definitely tell I feel better. And so in which case, shout out to me. But let's talk about last week's episode. So in which case, let me apologize. I threw the episode together at the last minute and kind of just needed to put something out, right? So in which case, I definitely have a much better episode in store for you today. But as always, do me a favor, go ahead, like the video, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so the way you can get all of those updates if you haven't already done that. But most importantly, definitely like the video. That always helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also, thank you for coming back. If it's your first time, I appreciate you. If it's I don't even know what episode I'm on. All these hoes are like blending together at this point, especially like with Stop the Foolishness. We almost at 100, and this one, I don't know. I don't even number these hoes. I just name them. So in which case, shout out to y'all for tuning in though. If you prefer the audio version though, I am on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your listening pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So up first, we're gonna talk about the infamous Mr. R.Kelly himself, man. This seems like it has been going on for my entire life, is what it feels like. This entire debacle, this entire thing where he's been talking to underage girls, sleeping with underage girls, child predator, just an all around, dirtbag extraordinaire, has finally come to an end where R.Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Now here we got it pulled up here, and this comes by way of The Guardian, and it says that the singer R.Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison on Wednesday for sexually abusing women, girls, and boys more than 20 years after first facing allegations. I didn't even know about the boys. For full disclosure, I never even watched Finding R.Kelly or whatever it was called. I don't even remember what it is, but that full documentary, I didn't even watch it. I didn't need to watch it because, again, I seen part of the sex tape, you know what I'm saying? It was clearly R.Kelly in that shit. He was clearly with an underage girl. How this motherfucker ever beat that case is beyond me. Okay. And that just goes to show that, like, if you got money, you can definitely beat anything. Shout out to T.I. as well, because I don't understand how that man hasn't spent a lot of time in jail either. But getting back to the point here, and the thing is this seems like it was a no-brainer. Like, it was eventually going to happen, especially after the documentary dropped. But here's my issue more so than anything, because he definitely deserves his 30 years. And I ain't trying to hear anybody that's trying to argue about whether or not he deserves 30 years. You can take that shit up with Guy, because I ain't the one to hear that shit. But my issue is with all the people who were complicit in this man doing all of this shit, and they ain't seeing no time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a part of the justice system that's really fucked up is that immunity clause, where like people can get immunity by ratting or rolling over on people, when in reality, they were the people doing the crimes too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, they were helping this man find young girls. They were helping this man be complicit in his actions to take advantage of younger women. It's like, where's the accountability for these people? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it feel like, I know that prosecutors need witness testimonies in order to like drive home, you know what I'm saying, cases and shit. But still, they shouldn't have been given immunity. It shouldn't have been a whole, well, you know what I'm saying, you off limits. Like, nah, nigga, you walk in here and tell me that you did anything in order to help R.Kelly, you know what I'm saying, cultivate women, you know, young girls into like his little cult following, or take advantage of young girls and boys. I'm sending your ass to jail. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's just me being ignorant, you know, and not really understanding how the nuances and working witnesses and shit go. But that's just how I feel. It's like, fuck that shit. Like, I ain't letting none of you niggas off the hook. All of y'all that helped this man definitely seeing time too. Because as far as I'm concerned, y'all child molesters too. Okay. But let's go ahead and play a little bit of this video here so you can hear from some of the survivors or some of the people who testified against R. Kelly and some of his victims.
Today was a very special but hard day for us. I personally, this happened to me a long time ago. I was 17, I'm 45 today. I never thought that I would be here to see him be held accountable for the atrocious things that he did to children. I don't know what else to say except that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for today. And I'm grateful that Robert Sylvester Kelly is away, will stay away, and will not be able to harm anyone else.
I started this journey 30 years ago. I was 14 years old when I encountered Robert Sylvester Kelly. There wasn't a day in my life up until this moment that I actually believed that the judicial system would come through for Black and brown girls. I stand here very proud of my judicial system, very proud of my fellow survivors, and very pleased with the outcome. 30 years did he do this, and 30 years is what he got.
Today, R. Kelly was sentenced to prison for his many crimes against underage girls. And R. Kelly used the power of his celebrity and his music business to lure and to manipulate and to isolate and to denigrate many young girls. Together, they were able to fight his power by becoming empowered young women themselves, who refused to be intimidated by him and his enablers. I am proud of all of them. And there are many sacrifices made in order to bring R. Kelly finally to the bar of justice. They have succeeded in making R. Kelly suffer the consequences of his criminal acts. In addition, they are relieved that he has been sent to prison for approximately 30 years, because while he is in custody, he will not be able to continue to sexually victimize any other underage girls.
So in which case, this is interesting to say the least, because the internet has gone wild with many people debating over this, whether or not he deserved 30 years. Again, I don't care how you fucking feel. Take that shit over God. But also with people coining the term child predators, and it ain't too many of them, but let's address that here real quick. So I've seen several comments from men and women addressing that, you know, these young girls, you know, sometimes don't tell men their age, and how they lure these men into relationships, you know, or, you know, have these sexual encounters with these men without giving them their age. And on one hand, I see your perspective, but, you know, that doesn't mean much, because here's my issue. Like, you're a grown man, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you sitting up here telling me you didn't know you was talking to a 14-year-old? And don't get me wrong, man. Like, some of these 14-year-olds now, they're dressing wild. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know if it's the steroids in chicken or food or whatever, but they're also starting to develop much earlier, you know what I'm saying, than like, you know, when we were growing up. But even still, you know that you're talking to somebody who's not your age. You know what I'm saying? I got 30-year-old, 35, 40 plus year old grown ass men and women on the internet arguing over the fact that like, yo, these young girls be, you know what I'm saying, luring these men into like these sexual relationships and not telling them their age. And my thing is, motherfucker, you know you're not talking to somebody your age. You know what I'm saying? You know that this person ain't 30 years old. You know that she's not, you know what I'm saying, got no full-time job out here with a full-time career. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, how long these relationships be going on? You feel me? Like, you get caught up in the club, you know what I'm saying? You know, the lights is out, they got fake IDs and shit. It's hard to tell. You know, she's 16, 17 in that real bracket range where you can't tell. You just get what I'm saying? All right, cool. You can't tell in the club. But once you get up out the club and you see her, you know what I'm saying, and you a sober mind, you get what I'm saying? You should know that person ain't the age that like you think she is. So it's all like, y'all be out here talking to these young girls, you get what I'm saying, and then want to sit up here and cry and make excuses about like, oh, well, I ain't know her age. Motherfucker, you knew she wasn't 30. You get what I'm saying? Like, you knew she wasn't 25. You knew she wasn't 26, 35. You knew she was young, bro. You get what I'm saying? And you wouldn't have these problems if you weren't sitting up here trying to talk to young ass women, because if we keeping it a buck, we already know that the reason why you talking to younger women is because you can manipulate them. Like, we already know that. It's easy to manipulate younger people. And I ain't trying to say you doing it for necessarily nefarious reasons or whatever, but that's the reason why. It's easier to manipulate younger people. And that's it. Like, we keeping it a buck. Don't give me no other excuses other than that. You know what I'm saying? DJ Academics in hot water now because of some goofy ass shit that he said a few weeks ago. And he using the same fucking excuse, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if she in college, man, I mean, she's a legal age. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna knock them draws down. Okay, my nigga, well, when you get caught up, you know what I'm saying, we're talking to like a 15 to 16-year-old, although I don't think that nigga would even give a fuck, but that's a conversation for another day. You know, don't come up here making excuses and shit. Don't come up here crying, asking for sympathy because you didn't know that she wasn't 18 years old. Motherfucker, talk to somebody your age, bro. And there's been cases where, you know what I'm saying, because I know somebody gonna, like, if I ever blow up, they gonna hit me with the whole, well, what about, you know, when you're 18 and you are already dating somebody in high school? Then yeah, there's been very few cases where like it's been fucked up where a kid got caught up, you know what I'm saying, he turned 18 and they were still having sexual relations, parents got mad and, you know what I'm saying, filed charges against him. Understand that that's fucked up. Okay, I get it. But no, we talking about grown men, you know what I'm saying, talking to underage women. Don't hit me with this whole very few cases where, you know, they were in high school, he was a junior, she was a freshman, you know, he graduated, they were still talking, parents filed charges against him because, you know, now he was too old to be with her. I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. Okay, we talking about grown men out here being lured in by teenage girls and y'all don't know they fucking age. Are you a fucking idiot? Okay, I ain't really want to turn this into a tangent, but I felt like I had to get this shit off my chest because I can't believe it's grown ass men arguing on the internet trying to talk about child predators. It's like, what the fuck are y'all talking about, man? Like, when did y'all wake up and decide they're like, you know what, I'm gonna get on the children today? You know what I'm saying? Where's the accountability? You know, like that ass. Like, where's the accountability? It's accountability is the most lacking thing in society today. Like, nigga, you, like, I can't stress this enough. Like, you're a grown man trying to sit up here and trying to justify, you know, another grown man having sexual relations with an underage girl, and you talking about the underage girl need to get in trouble too, because again, they do get in trouble. They eventually realize when they get with these older ass men that these niggas are nasty. You know what I'm saying? That they're abusive. You get what I'm saying? That's the punishment of them not understanding their age and doing what they're supposed to be doing their age. But still, the onus is on the man. The onus is on the adult. You get what I'm saying? Like, nigga, the adult needs to be held accountable. Like, do y'all niggas have no self-control at all? Is it like none? I mean, fuck. We talking about kids. And grown ass man on the goddamn fucking internet talking about like, y'all know when y'all was in high school, y'all was riding in the car and shit, you know what I'm saying? Trying shit. Damn, people make mistakes. You grow up, you learn from those mistakes. A lot of women know or understand the situation that these girls were in with R.Kelly because they made those mistakes. And in those mistakes, they learn that like, yo, these men out here that lure these young girls or that you talking to, they're abusive and shit. So they're passing that knowledge down to other generations. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all always want to bring up people past because now someone on Facebook who dealt with this shit before when she was younger is now speaking out against it, and y'all sitting up here like, nah, man, you know you was doing okay, but that's in the past, motherfucker. When she was a kid, too immature to understand the consequences of her fucking actions. Now we talking about a grown ass man, you know, taking advantage of children. And y'all niggas sitting up here talking about child predators. Boy, if y'all don't get the fuck out of here. Like that ass, like all of y'all niggas need to be lined up and have y'all ass whooped. I can't believe like this is even a fucking conversation, man. Jesus Christ. Sorry, y'all, I ain't mean to go on a rant, but this shit has been irking the fuck out of me, man. It's like, what are we talking about? Like real talk, like what is it that you niggas seem to think, you know what I'm saying, justifies this conversation? Bro, he slept with underage women. He got 30 years. Boom. Case closed, dismissed. It's over. Let's move on. All right. Whew. Okay. Just had to get it up off my chest. Now let's go ahead and get into some fun shit. All right, man. So me and the wifey was sitting around, man, and we were talking about other things that I could bring to the pod. And we decided to come up with the best of Black Twitter, man, because if y'all don't know, man, Twitter is like, I fell back in love with Twitter. I had actually not been on it for a while. You know what I'm saying? I had, you know, mainly Instagram, TikTok, that shit too, man, for sure. But recently I got back on Twitter, man, and I remember how dope it was and how funny these niggas are, man. So in which case, every week I'm gonna bring to you the best of Black Twitter, and we're gonna talk about the top tweets. So let's go ahead and get into a few of these. All right, so up first here, man, this right here is just so jacked up, man. So this is, I dated my boyfriend for 6 months. On the second month of our relationship, he got into an accident and was in the wheelchair for 4 months. During those months, I was there for him and all. Long story cut short, he got back to his feet last week. The first thing he had to do was cheat on me. Yo, man. If you look up the definition of ain't shit and they got a picture description, it's got a picture of this motherfucker there. Bro, do you know how much of a sack of shit you gotta be? You know what I'm saying, to be held down while you was in a wheelchair by a woman, and the first thing you do when you get back on your feet is go cheat on her? Come on, dog. Like, what are we doing here, my boy? All right, let's roll this next one here. It says, the pussy is right there. Why are you going in the ass? Yo, my nigga said Roe versus Wade, bro. Hey, yo, man, y'all gotta tighten up out here, dog. Y'all really gotta get it together, man, because the government ain't playing with y'all no more, man. Like that ass. Like, yo, man, shout out to my guy. Hey, look at his profile picture, bro. Like, it just looked like a nigga that's goofy, dog. All right, let's keep it going here. Oh, dog, this shit here broke my soul, man. She said, stupidly went to a real food truck and ordered ribs, not knowing they were plant-based. Yeah, never again. My nigga said, not the barbecue Kit Kats. I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at, man. It really do look like giant Kit Kats covered in barbecue sauce. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why, like, I can't stand vegans, because, like, first off, I don't know how you got to a food truck that was vegan based, you know what I'm saying, and ordered you some vegan ribs. That seemed like some shit that, like, you need to put a disclaimer, you know, or something, because I'm absolutely livid. See the little bench he's sitting on? I'm flipping that shit over. I'm tearing the motherfucker up if I bite into some shit and it's some vegan shit. Oh, no. That shit ain't happening. All right, let's get to my absolute favorite tweet here. Okay, this shit says, told my friend he must go to therapy. He says, nah, homie, I don't need therapy. I need money. I know why I'm not okay. Yo, man, shout out to my boy, dog. Listen, okay. Now, y'all know on my most recent episode, I talked about how, like, you know, I dealt with some things when I was quitting my last job and realized that I need to go talk to therapy. But I'm keeping it a buck here, bro. 99% of my problems are financially related. Okay. All right. Boys definitely can get shit taken care of. Matter of fact, virtually all of my problems can go away if I had enough money, my nigga. So shout out to him. Definitely understand where you coming from, boy. I feel like my nigga is me and me is him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is I need to meet whoever the fuck this is, because, like, me and this nigga think the same. I know what my problem is, my nigga. I know. All right, and my last one, since we did talk about R.Kelly today, my boy said, when I say toot, you say beep, beep, Robert. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of that shit, because they don't fuck with chomos in jail, bro. Shout out to my boy Vince. I just learned about the new term chomo. That's what they call child molesters in jail. Yeah, so they don't fuck with chomos in jail, bro. So R.Kelly, you know, tighten up, my boy. Tighten up. So now let's move into some other topics. So the internet has blown up over this entire video of this woman who was recording her baby daddy showing up with McDonald's for his son and not for other kids. Now, the internet has given a lot of opinions on this. Almost anybody has talked about it. I'm gonna go ahead and give my perspective on it. But first, we're gonna watch the video. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna analyze the video. Then I'm gonna give you my thoughts over each person because I feel like both people are right and I feel like both people are wrong at the same time. So let's watch it and then we'll come back and then we'll discuss it.
And day my baby daddy come here with one meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids at McDonald's though? Like that's bogus as hell. Like you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there you go. And I bet you he only got one thing in there.
Okay, so like here's the thing, right? Like I can't really prove it. I can't really say for certain that this is what's occurring, but it kind of feel like they might have already had that conversation before, right? You know what I'm saying? Like not to this extent, right? Because as you're gonna see, she's gonna pull up, she's gonna start recording him. He's gonna seem a little shocked that he's being recorded, but this may or may not, in my opinion, feel like this ain't the first time they've had this conversation. Maybe she been telling them like, yo, you can't do this shit. And you know, niggas with the egos and shit, they'll start thinking, man, look, I'm gonna bring my kid food. If I want to bring my kid food, I'm gonna bring my kid food. But this just kind of feels like it's not the first time they've had this conversation. So, all right, let's keep going.
I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose the out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
I mean, like, what you mean by exposing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I really don't understand that shit.
Me. Okay, what about my other kids? You know I don't get my food stamps to the 7th. But if you're trying to help out, though, you're not helping out. I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son. But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings? Listen, them are his siblings, though. He's not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating on McDonald's. No, why do I gotta put? Bring him out to the car. No.
All right, so bam, here we go. So this should have been the solution from jump, right? Like, because again, I can't prove it, but it kind of seemed like they already had this conversation. And so like now it's gotten to a point where she's all like, yo, man, you pissing me off. Although again, she bugging because she's expecting him or telling him that he need to show up with food for everybody if he's going to bring food for them. Because I don't know how y'all was raised, but the way I was raised, my mama didn't allow us to bring food into the crib, like without feeding everybody else. But anyway, but yeah, you should have just picked them up from jump, right? It should have been, hey, yo, let me come pick up, you know what I'm saying, Kyle, Kamain, whatever his name is. Let me come and pick him up. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying, go spend some time with him. And then you could have took him to McDonald's, right? Because see, if you coming to pick him up, see, she's denying you access to your child. But see, you doing this right here, you're not thinking about the other kids in the house that don't have McDonald's, right? And that seems like a pretty, you know what I'm saying, reasonable request that she's making outside of the fact that she's expecting him to buy food for like all the other kids. Because in reality, that ain't his kids.
Oh, he's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody. Lisa, so you're telling me that I gotta bring, so when I bring my son food, I gotta bring your kids food too now? Yes. You sound dumb. How is that dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb. Where are they daddies at?
Damn.
Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. They were your responsibility. They're not my responsibility. Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's? You know I get food stamps on the 11th.
All right, so remember she said she got food stamps on the 7th. Now she's saying she getting food stamps on the 11th. You know, some of this shit ain't adding up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, in McDonald's. You know I get food stamps on the 11th. Yeah, they're his siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me. Yes, you did. Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Like, why you bringing up the fact that you had other kids with the other people? That's irrelevant to the issue here. I understand her issue, you know what I'm saying? But like, she's doing a terrible job at conveying, like, you know what I'm saying, like her perspective. And a lot of times that's really what like most of the issue is.
Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you're such a motherfucking good daddy. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Damn.
You're foolish.
So he ain't a good daddy? All right.
You only come here with one piece of food for one child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed no.
Now she bugging now. See, this is where she's completely going off the rails. And you know what I'm saying? Mental health is a motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look into that shit, yo.
Nobody at all there. He can't take that. He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had one or two, I can like, you know, maybe.
Maybe.
It's 3 extra kids. What the f***? I like going to my mother account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb.
McDonald's super cheap, nigga.
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
Okay, so let's unpack this video here because she actually doubles down on like a second video, and we'll just play that after I discuss this here real quick. But here's the thing, man. We got to do better, man. Like when you read a lot of the comments of people who have commented on all these posts, because you know this shit hit everywhere. Spiritual World, On Site, The Shade Room. It's our reaction videos all over TikTok. I thought about doing one. I ain't gonna do one. I got a podcast. I'm just gonna drop these videos from this. But again, I told y'all that I saw both sides here. I thought both were right. I thought both were wrong. So let's talk about the woman here, because she's clearly the antagonist in this story. Here's the thing. Let's start with why I think she's right. So how I was raised was my mom told me, you know what I'm saying? She would tell me, like, yo, she would tell us, like, yo, y'all don't show up here with food. Like, if you ain't got food for everybody, then don't show up here with food. And essentially, that was just her saying that, yo, you need to eat that shit before you come up in a house, because you're not gonna be pulling up in here eating fast food and you ain't got fast food for everybody, or you ain't got food for everybody, you know? And to a certain extent, at the time, I thought that was goofy, because if you're hungry, just go in the kitchen and get something to eat. But really, I now understand that it's more about a respect thing. So in which case, I understand where she's coming from the perspective of, you know, she has other kids in the house. You get what I'm saying? Like, this doesn't really seem like it's really that fucking complicated for a lot of you niggas that sit up here arguing on the internet that's trying to understand like why this is a big deal. It's a big deal because children don't have the emotional, you know what I'm saying, understanding, or are they mature enough to understand at like 7, 8, or 9, because I'm assuming her children are young at 7, 8, or 9, to understand exactly what's going on, right? Like, they just see their brother has McDonald's, so now they crying to their mama about McDonald's. So really what it comes down to is you respecting her home. You get what I'm saying? Now, again, I can't prove that this conversation happened before, but it just kind of feel like she's blowing up now because like she done had conversations with this nigga about this shit and he's still doing the same shit. So she's saying, if you're not showing up with McDonald's for everybody, don't show up with McDonald's for your son. Because to me, the solution from the beginning was, yo, you just go pick up your son and you take him to McDonald's and then you bring him back. You get what I'm saying? Like, that seems like a very amicable solution. Okay, listen, here's the thing. I ain't bringing McDonald's for all of your kids, but what I am going to do is I'm going to come pick up my son, and out of respect to your home, I'm not going to be dropping off McDonald's just for him and your other kids don't have any. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of y'all on the internet arguing about like what he should do and what he shouldn't do. And this is the problem. And this is the reason as to why the world is so fucked up, is because a lot of us just want to hop on the internet and fucking argue about shit and not find any solutions. And the solution really is just what I just said. Okay. Like, she has other kids. Okay. Now that nigga showing up and buying them food, that's where she's wrong. Okay. Just to put it out there. So just to give her perspective, that's where she's wrong. She's wrong because she's asking him to take care of the other kids. Now that really ain't his responsibility. But even again, I'm gonna challenge a lot of you niggas, because what's wrong with just being a good person, bro? Oh, you talking about McDonald's? Bro, McDonald's got like a 20-piece McNugget for like $9, for like $10, for like $9.99. 2 large fries after that is like $2.39. Like, you talking about $15, $16 to feed 4 kids. You get what I'm saying? And understand that, like, to a certain extent, she is making a certain point here when she says that, like, yo, if you get McDonald's for your brother and your kids, that makes his life better, right? You get what I'm saying? Because understand that although they are siblings, they will treat him like shit if he's getting the person who's getting McDonald's all the time and they're not. Children are naturally jealous. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're immature. They don't have, again, the emotional capacity to understand that like his dad is bringing him that and my dad isn't. So it's not fair for me to be mad at him. They don't understand that shit. Matter of fact, even at 15, 16, they may not understand that shit. If you showing up buying him Jordans and shit and they not getting Jordans, they still may be hostile toward him and have issues with him. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all have to understand that, like, when y'all out here having children with women who have multiple kids by other dads, it's certain things that you ain't gonna be able to do out of respect to her home and her maintaining the well-being and the safe space of her home. Not get it. Some of y'all may not be thinking on that level, but start thinking that way. Okay, like it's a lot of variables here, and really it shouldn't be this deep, because honestly, y'all should just be coming to an understanding that, like, yo, come pick him up, take him to McDonald's. He gonna go get McDonald's, and even then, that may become a problem in the future, right? Because like, if you picking him up often, you know what I'm saying, they gonna wonder why they don't get to leave often, why they always stuck in the house, especially if they daddies ain't doing shit. Now that won't be your fault. That won't be your fault as a man. I completely understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? You doing your bit, doing what you can do. You can't, that woman can't be limiting time with your child because the other daddies ain't taking care of their kids. You know what I'm saying? But this really shouldn't be that complicated of a situation. It seems very straightforward and very simple. Respect her house, because at the end of the day, what she's asking you not to do, you shouldn't be doing. And niggas want to be egotistical and beat their chest, and I'm gonna do it anyway, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I took it from the video, that he was just showing up doing that shit anyway. They done had conversations before. Her recording him was just probably some new shit. She bugging when she said that nigga wasn't a good daddy. If that nigga showing up taking care of his kids, buying shit for his kid, he a good daddy. You know what I'm saying? What you want is, you want this man to start doing other shit that these other fathers are lacking in. But I ain't saying that he got to do that. But again, I don't understand with every now and then, you know what I'm saying, showing up, getting McDonald's for everybody. You know, if you really want to drop off McDonald's to your son, then yo, buy a few more motherfucking burgers, bro. A fucking cheeseburger is like $1, bro. You get 4 cheeseburgers for $4, for under $5. Like these conversations where people be making up excuses, they just don't be adding up. And again, it ain't that man's responsibility. But all of y'all on the internet sitting up here arguing about what y'all won't do instead of just trying to be better people. Okay, like, just be a good person. Like, doing that shit is just about being a good person. It's not about taking care of somebody else's kids. And that's the problem with a lot of you niggas. All of you niggas seem to think, you know what I'm saying, y'all that being a simp is like, you know, the worst thing in the world. And like, y'all don't even understand simp. Okay, a simp is a motherfucker that gets taken advantage of by a woman, you know what I'm saying, getting nothing in return. Like, she's the only person benefiting. You know what I'm saying? Being down bad behind a woman that doesn't care about you. You know what I'm saying? Taking a woman out to dates multiple times, and she ain't trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, pursue anything else with you other than getting a fucking meal. That's what being a simp is. Being a simp ain't showing up to get McDonald's for your kids. She got other kids in the house and saying, you know what, I'm gonna bless these other kids too, because like, you're blessing children, bro. Like, y'all sit on the internet arguing all the fucking time over goofy shit, you know, and I would ask who raised you niggas, but then I think back, like, ain't nobody raised us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's generations of niggas who failed the niggas before them. And like, we supposed to be the niggas fixing that shit. And instead we sitting up here on the internet arguing all the goddamn time over simple shit, when in reality, all it takes is you being a better person and being a more understanding person. But y'all rather sit up here and argue and shit rather than trying to understand the other person's perspective. So again, I'm saying she dead ass bugging, you know what I'm saying, just to expect him to do that for the other kids. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I totally understand why she don't want him bringing McDonald's up in the house. It that shit makes complete sense. And from his perspective, I see why he wants to, you know what I'm saying, do shit for his kid. That's his kid. He love him. He want to, you know, he want to feed him. He want to be blessed, all that other shit. But you got to understand, man, that as a man, that's her house. And you got to respect her house. And she got kids up in there, and them kids are not going to understand why your son is getting McDonald's and they not. But anyway, let's play the second part of the video where she doubles down on this shit. And I cannot stress enough how goofy this shit is. We're just going to play it all the way through and end it out on this. But this should be a lesson to all of you men to understand that, yo, man, be careful who you have kids with. Okay. You know, and sometimes people change after, you know what I'm saying, certain things occur, and sometimes you don't see the signs. But again, man, if you don't plan on wifing her, y'all niggas need to be wearing hats. We done got away from that shit. Niggas busting, you know what I'm saying, all up in the club. And, you know, that shit can have disastrous consequences. And this video right here is why.
So the whole world is basically bashing me right now because I'm the baby mama who was upset at her baby daddy because he only decided to give his child McDonald's and not the rest of my other 3 kids. I have 4 kids.
Yeah, that's how they work.
You knew the situation when you dated me. Damn, our child is the youngest child. So keep that in mind. before y'all make me the villain. That means all my other kids knew him. He was buying the McDonald's when we were together. My kids have to go through a transition of our breakup as well. Like, yeah, me and you broke up, but my kids got to feel it too. So now my kids have to see only one of their siblings get McDonald's and not the rest of them. And they know it's coming from you because, of course, like me and you used to be together. They used to see you. You used to do it for them. But now you don't want to do that for them anymore. Like, to me, that's petty. That's petty. Like, it's not fair. Like, you're not finna give one child McDonald's and not all the other kids McDonald's. Like, I'm not going. And then on top of that, you mean to tell me you can dib and dab and want to do it sometimes, but yet you can't feed all my other kids McDonald's though?
There we go.
That's what you mean to tell me?
Now
like, I'm not going for that. I'm going to stand on what I said, and I don't care what everybody else have to say about it. Y'all could judge me. Oh, well, I could be the villain, but I said what I said. Like, if you can't bring everybody McDonald's, then can't nobody have McDonald's then. Period.
Okay, so yeah, again, just to close this out, yeah, she dead ass bugging. But she's making valid points. You know, my only problem is that, like, is she expecting, because sometimes people have a hard time conveying what they're saying. So is she expecting him to buy McDonald's for her kids every time, you know, he wants to get his son McDonald's? Because if she's keeping him from taking his son to get McDonald's, I think she's completely in the wrong and she's bugging and she's on some bullshit. But if she's saying and she's setting that boundary, like, yo, you cannot show up with McDonald's for your son and not have McDonald's for everybody else. You get what I'm saying? And again, she's asking this nigga, she's telling this nigga he gotta buy McDonald's for everybody else. I don't know about all that shit. But the point here is she's setting boundaries, and there's nothing wrong with that. Where she's losing me at is just expecting him to buy McDonald's for everybody else. That shit ain't cool. But again, I challenge niggas all the time because at my heart, I'm a good person. You know what I'm saying? At my core, I'm a good person. So my heart would want to get McDonald's for the other kids because I would understand their perspectives. Okay. But a lot of times you niggas out here, you know, especially when you're beefing with your baby mamas and shit, y'all just, one person's trying to win. And the problem is like when one person's trying to win, kids get hurt in that situation. So think about the kids, man. I ain't telling y'all niggas out here to change who you is, but a lot of times y'all don't think about the kids in the situation. And I know them ain't your kids, but those are still kids. So how you don't have any sympathy or you lack any empathy for that situation is, again, another thing that I never understand. But a lot of you niggas is shitty niggas anyway. So in which case, you know, it is what it is. With that being said, though, man, that's everything that I have for you today, man. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. It's been fun. It's been real. Again, do me a favor, man. Hit that like, subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you get all these updates. Everyone have a happy 4th of July. I don't really care about the 4th of July, but I'm definitely happy to have a 3-day weekend and a reason to barbecue. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. It's your boy, Mr. Imperator Rose. I'm out.